Jimmy Dore and Aaron Maté. I think they're a great combination together. They go really well. So I was really excited when I saw that
Again,
Aaron
Aaron
Maté.
Maté is really funny when
Yeah,
he does impressions.
he did a few impressions in this one too, right?
Yeah, I love his impressions are really accurate, actually,
Yeah.
I think. Yeah, anyway.
No, but and it was to discuss. So pretty much the Daily Mail has reported that the BBC has
Daily Mail. I love that.
yeah,
It's just, yeah.
yeah, that part of the story is funny, but well, it
Yeah.
is what it
Daily
is.
Mail, for anybody who doesn't know, is like the shittiest and most disgusting newspaper. I mean, from taking pictures of people's underwear to, tapping their phones and lies. But because they hate the establishment, they're thuggish and Trumpish. So they hate the establishment so much. So they tend to publish a lot about royal family and leaders. Basically, they tend to do that a lot. So sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, no, yeah, that's the kind of stuff that they do. But here they reported that the BBC has admitted that a Radio
They
4
hate
doc,
BBC.
yeah, that a Radio 4 documentary on an alleged chemical weapon attack in Syria contained serious inaccuracies. So this is the story that, of course, Aaron Maté has been working on. He's written a bunch of articles, and the Daily Mail, and the reason the Daily Mail is involved here is because Peter Hitchens, Christopher Hitchens' brother, I believe, is the main person, one of the main people who wrote to one of BBC's committees or something. So he complained about some of the
Yeah,
inaccuracies. And
in UK, they have a special body called Ofcom that regulates media activity. UK is, beside the slander and libel laws that are more rigid in the UK compared to US, media regulatory bodies are slightly more rigid too.
but I don't think this went to them. I think this is an internal BBC committee that
Really?
found that that
Okay.
the documentary had some serious inaccuracies. And one of the main ones is that they tried to say that one of the OPCW whistleblowers had come out because WikiLeaks paid him $100,000 or were going to pay him hundred
Was
thousand
offered
dollars.
reward.
Yeah, and that appears to not be true. So I mean, Aaron Matta, of course, who's been on top of this story, says that this is just the tip of the iceberg. There is so much more that's bullshit about this particular Syria and Syrian gas attack. But I mean, yeah, so they're just like a few things that I guess they couldn't let go. And yeah, so and it's funny that yeah, Peter Hitchens brought it up, and I guess that's why the Daily Mail reported it. And I tried to look up this story a little bit online, and really just one or two obscure kind of outlets had picked it up. So the Daily Mail was kind of the most legitimate one here to report it. But yeah, and then they had a funny moment towards the end in this video, and we'll get to that, Aaron Maté and Jimmy Dore. But before getting to that, I don't know if you have any comments about um, Aaron's appearance in general or this part of the story.
No, it's to be honest, it's I still would say compared to even Guardian and a lot of other mainstream private leftists, I still think BBC, with all its flaws, which are so many, it still has because they have these standards and all that. It still has probably. I mean, even when it comes to Labour Party, their reporting compared to Guardian, for example, much better. So I like that. But I mean, I'm just confessing my
Yeah.
sort of a slight bias for BBC. Peter, Daily Mail, by the way, I think Daily Mail is part of the string of newspapers owned by Murdoch, and they hate the BBC.
Mm-hmm.
They've been trying to destroy BBC. They've been trying to get the funding away from BBC for years. So that's their real angle there. Peter Hitchens, though, that person, he's, I would say, one of the very few genuinely principled conservatives out there in the world, I would think. Because if conservatism was an actual properly defined ideology, let's say, he is somebody who I think consistently adheres to it and has a consistent line, which kind of I think shares with his like they were polar opposite. He's conservative, he's somewhat religious, he's a bit of an isolationist, and Christopher Hitchens was the complete opposite in all these aspects. But they both had a consistency of sort of sort of the underlying framework of their thought. So yeah, I think it's like I like to listen to him, even though I pretty much agree with 90% of the things he says. And it's I'm glad that like people like him are few people who have the sort of clout to be able to stand up for these things. So I'm glad he did that and managed to get the BBC to basically admit that they're wrong. But also I would say I listened to the BBC podcast about the issue. The BBC podcast, they don't come out and outright lie so much like the one you mentioned and the one that got them into trouble. It's just your usual, media tricks of
Lie by omission.
yes, and framing the
Yeah.
story in a way that and insinuating, implying a lot of shit, so yeah, that's
Yeah.
probably like why they like don't admit their faults on the other things, because
Yeah, and
loopholes.
that is real. That is the important kind of fake news, if you ask me. That's what really fake news is, which is a bit different. But I don't want to open that whole box right now.
Yeah, I think everything is propaganda, and so it's just if you're not open about it, if you're not up front about it, then that's where I have a problem with it, because I think everything is genuinely like you can't tell a story without omitting some facts, and that's gonna definitely affect the narrative, all that. So yeah, but they're not upfront about it. They keep saying we are unbiased. That's the problem.
Yeah, that's a very good point. Unlike us, and we're we're very upfront about our biases, I must say. But that was a very good point. I just want to come back something you said about BBC. And yeah, BBC's definitely far from being the worst. I mean, let's say if you spend your whole day, okay, if you read CNN, fine. But if you watch CNN the whole day, you will not come away with anything. But I mean, if you go and consume BBC and read, you'll get some stuff for sure. But even if you watch just the TV channel throughout the day, you'll come across you'll come across some decent stuff, if you ask me.
I think CNN and just American news outlets, I'm sorry, but just they are on a whole different level of being bad.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I was saying.
Like BBC. Yeah, I was comparing BBC more to Guardian, DW, France 24, that type of thing, or like Independence, the Telegraph. Like I was thinking of it in the British, and like CNN stuff. That's circus. That's circus. That's all it is. That's just for entertainment, literally circus and bread. That's all it is.
Yeah, and that's why you can literally put CNN in any room in any background, because
I mean,
it's like a wallpaper. It's like it's just.
The graphics are so similar to like children programmings with the bright colors and that. Yeah. Sadly, BBC is going that way, but slowly.
I mean, you know how you watch a sitcom, and if it's really not a good sitcom, it's just a normal one, you shouldn't really get tired, because it's just so like it just goes. CNN is like that. I mean, you can watch it the whole day and
it's like
you will never get tired. Yeah, it's like your brain was never working.
I get really angry I get
That's
so
different.
pissed off.
Yeah,
but I think slightly older people, they can just it's just like white noise. Yeah, it's like radio in a car, old. Yeah,
you just leave it. and they also cover the same story, but just with a different cast every hour, so you can also you know exactly what they're talking about, so it's just so easy to follow. Okay, this is the story of the day. First he's gonna talk about it, then this person, with their cast of 8 panelists. Of course there has to be like a mini bus of panelists. For some reason you would hate to be one of those panelists, because they'll cut you off after 10 seconds. Each panelist gets like 30 seconds, and then that's it. There's no coming back.
Yeah, no, I love question time. I must say, in UK that's a fun one. They have like 6 or 5 panelists, but no, the CNN stuff, it's just the whole, it's like, whose line is it anyway? It's a joke. The whole thing is a joke. It's a circus.
But okay.
But by the way, I would say if they do invite me though, I would just go. Like I would not
100%.
boycott. I would not what do they say? I would not hesitate for a second,
Yeah.
you know.
Well, two things could happen to you. This was really funny, actually. You just reminded me of this. Jimmy Dore showed this clip of Sky News, and Sky News, I mean, they belong to
Yeah,
Robert Murdoch,
Fox
right?
of
They're the
Fox of
Fox.
UK.
And then
Very,
they
very,
invited, yeah, then they invited this former UK politician ambassador to talk about the Syria thing, and he's not giving their narrative, and the lady cuts him off in the most
yeah, I saw
obvious way,
that.
and is like, okay, let's move on. Sorry, we don't have that much time. So either that's gonna happen to you if you go on it, or if you're on one of those panels, you better choose your words wisely, because you get one sentence and
3
then they're
seconds.
not coming back to you. They never
Yeah,
do a full, they just do like one round and that's it. Okay. Next
they're
cast.
out.
But okay, and then at the end there was Aaron Maté pushed back on one of Jimmy Dore's kind of takes, because they started talking about democracy now, and they showed this clip of Amy Goodman kind of explaining why they don't cover both the Russiagate thing or also the Syria thing, and she just kind of gives this half answer. And Aaron
I
Maté,
do no. She clearly she gives a politician answer. She
yeah,
dodges the question.
yeah, that's even better put. So she dodges the answer, and then Aaron Maté and Jimmy Dore are discussing this, and Aaron Maté is like, I've worked there for 10 years and stuff. I still really, he doesn't say I care about them. But then Jimmy Dore says, like, yeah, I mean, I don't know why their takes are so bad on this issue, or like have become so bad. All you have to do is probably follow the money, and there's a donor somewhere that would explain that. And here Aaron Maté says, like, yeah, I know we've talked about this a few times, and I disagree here. And he says that I think they have more integrity than that. And this is something he spoke about with Glenn Greenwald about this. And he thinks that, they've just kind of internalized, for one reason or another, some of the establishment's narratives, especially around Russiagate and parts of the Syria war. And it's more that than them, and he points out, he's like, they've been well funded if you go way back. And he's like, they deserve it because they have been a great show. But yeah, that's kind of, he has a little bit of a different take. And I think this is a relevant take too, because we also always say that TYT, is it the funding that made them shitty like this, that 20 million? I don't know if it's that, or maybe just like Glenn said, that Russiagate broke their brains or something. Yeah.
I two things. First of all, I don't like to talk about people's like politicians, maybe, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know if democracy now people have integrity.
Well,
or
Aaron
not.
Maté knows them personally, though. It's different.
No. Or question. No, I just don't like other people. Like, we want to talk why democracy. Like, the issue is why democracy now doesn't cover these topics, right? Or doesn't cover them in the way that the left progressive people. To. Yeah, exactly. And I think again, I no inside knowledge of democracy now or any media organization, but from what I observed throughout the years and from what I read from Matt Taibbi, who wrote extensively on the evolution of news coverage, news media in America, and Glenn Greenwald and others. I'm trying to think. There is somebody whose name wrote a great book. Anyway, based on these books and observations I read, it does seem that no, I don't think it's the funding. I think it's more they have different priorities, probably. Again, yeah, it's not that Trump broke their brain necessarily, or, well, that's what I feel. That's what I mean, that's my view.
I mean, yeah.
But for them, it's like, this story is not half as important as you guys think it is. So we are going to focus on, for example, campaign financing in America. I don't know, or coup in Honduras, because there is quite a lot of content out there that you can cover, and you have to pick and choose. And I think they feel like, they don't want to contribute to a narrative that is associated with some radicalism that they don't agree with. I think they're wrong. I think they're making a mistake. And I think if they did cover these things, both financially and otherwise, it would be in their benefit, audience share, all that. But in terms of whether there, I mean, who's like everybody's, we all get paid by somebody and it influences us somehow. So I rather talk about the specific actions and all that.
Yeah.
But not with TYT, Intercept, and Democracy Now, all three, I think they disagree with people like me. I don't think I think they're stupid, to be honest. A lot of them genuinely stupid, like not intelligent. But I don't necessarily, and that's why they get paid more, because like that's the game though. If you're stupid, you get paid more. You don't know
Typically,
it.
yeah.
You don't know. You think you're like, that's the thing. I think that's how it works. So, if you're stupid and believing these are stupid things, then another stupid idiot like Jeffrey Katzenberg will come and give you money. Like, it's a whole thing. And, you grow. A Democracy Now, I don't know exactly how that works. I never understood how democracy is funded, because it does feel like it's produced in the basement of my grandma's like second home or something. And then it's just the production value, everything. It's like from
No, they
80s,
have a
I think.
nice studio, and yeah, I mean, they have a nice studio.
I haven't
and they
seen
have-
it for 5 years, so maybe it's
I
changed.
mean, their studio is decent, but yeah, they have staff members and stuff. But I mean, I don't know about Democracy Now either, because I didn't watch them for the past few years. I used to watch them a lot, like about a decade ago. But TYT, for instance, definitely cared about Russiagate. They just believed the Russiagate narrative and fell on the other side, because you're kind of saying that maybe some of these issues they don't care a lot, but Russiagate, like Democracy Now,
yeah, no,
clearly
democracy
cared. Sorry, TYT. Sorry, TYT
I
clearly
would say
cared.
Democracy Now is in the more category of disagreement. TYT is more in the category of being stupid. I think TYT is just they've always been chasing what's hot, whether it was Britney Spears' personal pictures or Russiagate. So they're just idiots who follow what's hot.